and move on to my favorite segment of all time, my friends. It is time for This Week in Shohei Ohtani News. We're going to talk about his week on the mound, his week at the plate, some things he's doing outside the foul lines, maybe an AL MVP conversation, and the new samurai helmet that the Angels use to celebrate home runs.
I love it.
Let's start with his pitching. On the mound, obviously his first start of the year ended up going really well after a slower start. This start was kind of the same. Took him 2 to 3 innings to really get going in this outing against the Mariners, and it was that first inning really could have gone poorly very quickly. Walked a couple of guys, seemed to get into some trouble, and then worked his way out of that trouble. Second and third inning, still not really himself. Ends up working out of it, becomes the dominant Shohei that we have come to know and love, and ends up settling in and dominating for 6 innings, 1 earned run, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts, 110 pitches, and got the W on the mound. So what I like to see here is this was almost a continuation of what we saw from Shohei last year, whereas if he got in trouble, he was able to figure it out and work out of it. Shohei, from the first couple of years in the big leagues, if he doesn't have his stuff, he's out of that game in the second or third inning. And he certainly had that stuff early on in the game. Well, he had his stuff, but he was a little all over the place with it. That was an outing where previously in years past, he's not getting out of that third inning. He's going to continue to walk guys, but he figured it out and really locked in, was throwing 101, punching guys out, started finding his command. He was nasty on the mound, 110 pitches, the most this year in his 2 starts, and ended up driving in a run after his 110th pitch, struck out the 8th guy, went up to the plate and drove in a run. It was an unbelievable game.
It was great, and it's always awesome for him to get that first win, especially after having the outing he did in his first start to then actually get the win in the second. But there was a moment in this game that was probably one of my favorite Shohei Ohtani moments. Pretty sure you saw it. Yep. He was talking to the ump just outside of the dugout. Ohtani decides to then reach into the umpire's ball pouch without asking and tosses a ball to the pitcher on the mound of the opposing team. Now, I am pretty sure Shohei Ohtani is the only player in Major League Baseball who can get away with something like this. And it was absolutely hilarious.
The turn of the umpire. You're just like, wait.
Okay.
Okay.
That happened.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, that pitching-wise, he was dominant.
Yes.
And has continued to start this year off great. Offensively, he throws that 110th pitch, gets the strikeout, and then next thing you know, he comes up to the plate, drives in the 4th run of the game, and I think at the time that made them go up 4-1 in the ballgame. They ended up winning 4-3. So that added insurance run ended up being huge for them in that game. And then just this week in general, offensively, man, I called it in this segment, I believe last week. I called how big I think the shift would be for him batting average-wise. Man, the guy's hitting over 330 this year to start the year, over 320 at the plate on the week, 3 homers, 6 RBIs. On Sunday, we saw him hit a ball. Man, I loved seeing this. There was a ball off of the plate, a ball inside, and he hit it opposite field, out for a homer, deep left center field. When Shohei Ohtani is going at his best, we see this, what we see in this video right now. He will inside out a ball and drive it into that left center field gap. When I see this, when I see Shohei doing things like we just saw right there, that's when you know he's locked in. And he's locked in at the plate right now. Last 7 days has been off the charts. And, yeah, he's locked in on both the mound and at the plate right now.
You have to imagine that the WBC was a huge part of him almost coming into the start of the season feeling like he's in mid-season form. Because, as you watched, they won the WBC, Team Japan. He was the MVP. He was absolutely incredible during the WBC and then just carried it right into the start of the season. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do think, the WBC in years past kind of had a little bit of a stigma about it, but I really think we're seeing a lot of guys come in super locked in
Who played?
to the regular season. I mean, look at what Trout's doing so far. Look at a ton of the big stars that played in the WBC doing really well. So at the plate, offensively, really good this week. On the mound, another dominant start, but I really liked what I saw there because we know more often than not Shohei's going to have his stuff from the very beginning of the game. But this one he didn't, and he found a way to work around it. Another first. Shohei's a guy full of firsts, right? Well, Shohei Ohtani continued that theme this week. Shohei became what will now forever be etched in history, the first player ever to have a pitch clock violation on the mound and at the plate in the exact same game. And again, we mentioned the WBC and how that's affected him. I really think that could have affected him here as well. Look, the WBC didn't have the pitch clock, right? So he's pitching in the World Baseball Classic, at the plate in the World Baseball Classic, while all these other players are at spring training learning about the pitch clock. Well, Shohei didn't exactly have that. And now in his second game of the year, he's out there on the mound taking too long and gets the violation, and then getting in the box taking too long gets the violation. First player ever. I don't think it will be the last because I think we'll see a position player pitch at some point in a blowout and probably get one as well. But just a man of firsts, Alex.
Yeah, which we love. Thank you, Ohtani.
Alex, do you think it's too early in the year to have an AL MVP conversation?
No, not at all.
It's absolutely not too soon to have an AL MVP conversation because what I want to do throughout this entire season is kind of give an update on how Shohei is doing, which I do every week in This Week in Ohtani News, but also how some other players from around the league are doing. And when you talk about AL MVP, who's in that conversation with Shohei? Who's doing really well? Who needs to be worried about if you're a fan of Shohei and rooting for him to win the AL MVP? Well, I'll tell you. Right now, probably, if the season ended right now, it'd probably be Shohei's. But another guy that right now would probably be neck and neck because it's been very close is Adam Duvall. Adam Duvall so far this year, batting .455 with 4 homers and 14 RBIs. He has been tearing the cover off the ball. Now, on Sunday, unfortunately, Adam Duvall got I don't want to say, it appeared pretty bad. Dove for a ball out in center field and appeared to pretty badly injure his already surgically repaired wrist. So who knows what's going to happen there, but no matter what, big blow so far to the Red Sox lineup that he's been the bright spot for that team. He's been so good to start the year, and his stats so far are showing just that. Another guy, Mike Trout, his teammate. Trout has been so good to start the year, and it's just on the heels of hitting 40 homers last year when he didn't play like a third or fourth of the season. He's already hitting .379 on the year with 3 homers and 8 RBI. He was the first player on the Angels to put on that samurai helmet when he hit a home run at home. He keeps attacking that truck out in left center field at Angel Stadium. I don't know what that truck did to him, but the first 2 games of the season at home, he took aim right at it. So, he's been dominating. Mike Trout's certainly in that conversation. Another guy would be Aaron Judge, who on Sunday hit 2 home runs. Aaron Judge is now right back in, it's the beginning of the season, but home run total-wise, he wasn't up there with the league leaders. However, Sunday, 2 home runs. Now he's 1 off the lead, hitting well over 300 as well. He's hitting .364 with 4 home runs on the year. Aaron Judge right there in that conversation. And lastly, one that comes to mind is Yordan Alvarez. Yordan has, 14 RBI in 9 games to start the year, 9 or 10, I think. Sunday made 10 games, batting .281, 3 homers, and 14 RBIs. Hit a grand slam the other day. So that's kind of Shohei's competition to this point. But what Shohei does that all of these other guys don't do is pitch. And I know I might be barking up the same old tree there, but for somebody else to take the MVP award away from Shohei, who is the big favorite to win it for a reason, you have to do something like what Aaron Judge did last year, which is break the all-time AL record. Do I think that happens this year? I don't. So as of right now, I think Shohei is the sitting favorite to win the AL MVP award.
Oh, I'm with you. It's how do you compete with a guy that plays 2 positions and is top tier in both two positions.
Well, you would say it's
can't.
unfair, but the guy has put
can't.
in so much work in his life,
His
to
whole
be able
life
to do what
to
he
be
does.
here.
So it's not unfair at all.
No.
He's earned every bit of the success
Yes,
he's having.
he has.
So, last part of this week in Shohei Ohtani news, probably my favorite part.
Yes.
The samurai helmet that Shohei Ohtani has brought to this Angels team. They don't have a cowboy hat celebration anymore. They have a samurai helmet celebration. Alex,
What an upgrade.
I love it. Here it is here. We saw Shohei Ohtani for the first time on Sunday. Got to wear this thing. I'm in love with it. I think it's awesome. Alex, I feel like you will as well, but I did a little bit of research on this thing as well.
Okay.
So I have all the news that I didn't even know I need. The article that I read was in Japanese.
Okay.
So I translated the article and was
Okay.
able to put a few things together. First off, it's made in Japan.
Cool.
It's manufactured by Murataki, an armor workshop in Kagoshima.
Ooh. So it's
And
real.
It's real.
Ooh.
And it has a cost of about 330,000 yen, which you might say, Ben, how much is that in American dollars?
Yeah.
$2,500.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
He splurged.
So
I
what
love
we're
it.
saying is, don't drop it.
No.
Just keep it safely on your head. I love it. Shohei Ohtani brought this and was the one that made this happen for the Angels. We saw Trout wear it the other day. We saw Shohei get to wear it for the first time on Sunday. And it is an expensive piece of headwear.
Huge upgrade. And I love that he's also bringing more of the Japanese culture into the clubhouse, into the dugout, and for all of us fans to get behind and enjoy, and it's beautiful.
I think it's just been the perfect, like, over the last couple of years, how much have we seen the, like, love and respect for Japan and the U.S. and the NPB and Major League Baseball seemingly get, like, so much more. I feel, and maybe it's just me because I'm so immersed in it, but I find myself talking about NPB players all the time, and Murakami and Sasaki, and I feel like we know as much as we know about those players because of Shohei and what he's been able to do over here. And he's, like, bridged that gap between the two and made it so, like, oh, we hear about these players in the NPB, like, well, if they're anything like Shohei, like, these guys could be the real deal. And they absolutely could be. And a big part of it is, like, Shohei doing things like this, just kind of immersing the Japanese culture in over here, and it's been a blast to see.
Yeah, he's grown the game on a global scale, and it's situations and moments like that where now we are aware and we know the regular names, the top names over in Japan. So it's just, he's the best.
Well,
Shohei's the best.
My friends, that does it. I don't know if you saw, we had a new transition into this segment today. It was like an explosion on the screen.
Woo! And it's gone.
And that's how it ends, my friend. That does it for this week in Shohei Ohtani news.
Thanks for watching. If you love Flippin Bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.